And we're live.
And we are.
Welcome, everybody, to A Nice Place to Brew. I'm Jason.
And I'm George.
And I'm Pauly.
Today is May 4th. We do our webcast every Thursday, here available on Facebook and YouTube. If you haven't gone to our YouTube page, you can see all of our past episodes, and you can like and subscribe. We do our webcast every Thursday, so we have new episodes coming every week, so check us out there. We have an audio podcast under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew, that's available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and all the places you get your podcast from. We have a website at www.aniceplacetobrew.com, and we're on social media under A Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew. This is all things beer and beer making. Mm-hmm. George and I have a couple of beers that we're very excited to talk about, and we're of course taking home brewing questions. If you have any questions for us, throw it in the chat. We will answer it here on the show. All right. Introductions aside, what is everybody drinking tonight?
Pauly?
I'm drinking Basswood. Well, first of all, Impossible Mead, their Basswood mead, which is pretty good. Hold on, let me taste it. I got your back. Oh, that's tasty. A little sweet. Not as sweet as that peach stuff that we had on Sunday, Jason. But it's still good.
Okay. George.
So I have, thanks to a snow globe from a good buddy of mine, Orenda from Pollyanna Brewing Company out of
Lamont.
Lamont. Yes, thank you. Lamont, Illinois. This says Orenda 2, Volume 2 on it. However, I'm thinking it's probably Orenda 3, and this is just an old label. But it is a barrel-aged Belgian quad aged in grape brandy barrels. So we'll see how that is. The first time they did it, it was aged in red wine barrels, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, so this is slightly different.
And I will join said topic on Orenda from Pollyanna because I also am drinking a Orenda. Mine is a little different. So this is interesting because I got these beers at a store a couple weeks ago. And yes, snow globed one of those to my good friend George. And we got a mixed pack because I do not have a Belgian quad. I have a apple brandy barrel aged Orenda Volume 3 Belgian style triple.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if this was a mistake or if Pollyanna is kind of selling mixed packs.
Yeah, it might be. Well, I'll tell you right now, the quad in here is in this grape brandy barrel. It's quite tasty.
Agreed.
Yeah,
this one's really good too.
Yeah, yours is definitely lighter than mine. Hold it up.
Yeah.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the difference between a quad and a triple.
If you ever needed an example, here it is.
There's a night and day difference right there. What the heck's going on here? What's going on, Pollyanna? You guys are slacking.
No. One's a quad, one's a triple. So
yeah.
Okay.
All right, I was confused there for a second.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely a stark contrast.
It absolutely is. And I'm going from 0 to a 16-ounce, 11% beer. So this may be a short episode. We shall see.
Well, I did just share a bottle of 2019 wheat wine Bourbon County Stout before we started here.
Okay, so we might set a land
Isn't
speed
that
record.
one awesome? That 2019 wheat wine is incredible.
I never tried it. I never tried it fresh because I just kind of threw it in the cellar when I bought it. I wanted to see what it tastes like, the first year because, it tastes a small hint of booziness, but it was so mellow. It was much, much better. So I can't give I didn't try it because I think I bought 2 of them. And I just threw them both in my Bourbon County room. So I'm going to have to bust those out here next few weeks. Maybe I'll save one more for a year because I'm wondering if wheat wines are like barley wines where I've heard rumors that 3 years is like the sweet spot for aging barley wines to get the ample flavor before stuff starts to fall off,
Right.
You heard it here first. So since our first like came through, which we definitely appreciate, guys. It helps to get everything out there and really let people know what you're watching and that you're enjoying it. So we appreciate that. But tonight, something a little special. As I said in the description, because it's his favorite style of modern beer. Every like on this live cast will mean one milkshake IPA for Pauly. How we're gonna make him drink that, I'm not entirely sure, but you know.
Well,
we'll figure it
you know
out.
what? It was kind of funny because I did the math. No, I did the math today because I had a problem with that milkshake. It stalled out. It went from 1080 to 1050, and then it stalled out and just didn't do nothing.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
I repitched some SO4, and it took off again. It's gone down another 10 points in 2 or 3 days. So we'll check it out another week or so. And because the way we were going to do it here is I'm going to do all one-offs and 6-0s. I have 25 one-offs I'm going to have to muscle through, or all you assholes who made me make this beer are going to have to muscle through it too.
So what's your target final?
Well, I think the estimated was, hold on, let me grab the sheet.
Okay. So.
You know, this is actually kind of funny because the last brew meeting that we had, I brought a couple beers in, and people were asking what my hop schedule was, and I'm like, oh God, I have no idea. And I was talking to Sean that we've had on the show before. He's like, you remember when we were homebrewers, we knew everything right off the top of our head. I'm like, yeah, you're right, we did. So
That's interesting.
My estimated final gravity is supposed to be 1010.
For a milkshake?
1020.
Okay, that's better. All right.
That makes more sense.
Estimated OG was supposed to be 1070. I came up with 1080, and estimated final is going to be 1021. So I'm guessing maybe 1030, and I'll be happy with it.
Okay.
So, I won't be happy with it because it's a milkshake, but I'll be, at least I got 20 more points fermented out of it too.
Right.
I was getting scared because I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I think stalled out. It only dropped 30 points and it stalled out. The hell?
What did you pitch originally?
5 packs of, I believe it was Boss. I think it was either Boss or Hornadell because I've been bouncing back and forth. Hornadell. 5 packs of Hornadell.
Should have done it. That's a high alcohol yeast.
Yeah, but the thing was, there's a couple, because when I called Omega and I told them what I needed, I'm like, hey, I know you're going to try and sell me a full pitch, but, down here at my little last brewery, I can get away with 5 packs of your yeast. So that's all I want to buy. And they're like, okay, we can have that tomorrow. I'm like, damn, now I was trying to push this thing off another week. Now I have to brew it tomorrow. Beer gods didn't work in my favor that day. Well, as I was pitching the yeast, I had at least 1 or 2 packets. I literally had to kind of squeeze them out because it was coming out chunky. It wasn't liquefied anymore. So I didn't check the dates on them either when I got them.
They might have been. You might have been a little. Yeah. All right. Well, at least you got it moving again. That's always good.
Yep.
So
Pauly, you've had a rough week, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, I had a decent week until yesterday. So yesterday I was getting ready to brew my Imperial Stout, which I was excited about because we'll get a 6-still on tap here, and then 90% of it I'm putting in a Rittenhouse rye barrel to age for my barrel process. And so I get here yesterday morning, I'm a little slow. I'm heating water. I'm milling my grain. I'm weighing my salts out. I had everything ready to go. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait. I go and I hit my transfer pump to move my strike water from my hot liquor tank to my mash tun. My circuit board, my panel goes down.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Means I busted a circuit. I'm like, oh no. So here I am running around. I know where the circuit breaker is. I switch it. Every time I go to hit the pump again, it dies again. I'm like, oh, fuck. So time to start doing some diagnosis. I'm not an electrician, but I know a little bit. I know enough to at least kind of figure out when I call these assholes, I don't sound like an idiot. I found a couple small things. I got those remedied. And then all of a sudden I realized, well, you know what? This might be this pump. So I unplugged the pump from my board and I went to a completely separate circuit. I kept popping that circuit. I was like, all right, it's this pump. This pump's shorted out. But you got to keep in mind my water pump, as Jason knows, I use that pump at least once, 2-3 times a day for at least an hour or so.
Yeah.
My work pump only really works when I need it or on brew days. That water pump seems to move everything else. So that explains why that pump went out before the other one. And then after I called my owners, because they're away on vacation again in Arizona, they're hiking and camping, doing what they do. And they're like, oh, yeah, we've had that problem before. I'm like, oh, okay, well, at least this is a new problem, which I kind of felt bad because I talked them into spending a bunch of money. I'm going to see if I can make this happen. Jason, you're going to be proud of me. I got a new addition to my boil kettle. So we'll see if I can. Yeah, hold on. All right.
Let's see.
You're going to come for a walk with me.
Okay, sure.
All right.
Uh-oh. This rarely happens on a nice place to brew.
You see that?
Okay.
My whirlpool arm.
Yeah, look at that.
Hey, moving
That's
up
nice.
in the world.
Yeah. So I got that
So you can run the pump and make get a flow going.
Whirlpool. Yeah, not like we did over Blue Island with a goddamn oar.
We did a manual whirlpool at Blue Island.
Did we talk about that brew day?
We have not.
No, we haven't.
We're here to talk about it later today.
Yeah, we need to talk about that one because we might have to share a particular picture that's quite entertaining.
100% we are.
All right. Yeah. All right.
All right.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Well,
so that being said, the pump, I called Blickman yesterday morning, and they didn't get back to me, so I called them this morning before I left the house. And my rep, which, you know what, I used to talk smack about Blickman because they were expensive, but they do make a very quality part. And at least on the pro side, their tech support is top fucking notch.
Yeah, that's good.
Wow.
Yeah, they are. Like when I had the problem with that spar or the arm, the whirlpool arm. Jason knows I have this screen blocker. It's kind of like a hot blocker that Blickman has. They're trying to keep your tube out of your fermenter. And so I was on the phone with this guy for like a half hour, kind of running ideas off of him and bouncing ideas off of each other back and forth. So we come to find out the whirlpool is the best thing for me. And I called this guy last night or yesterday morning. He didn't get back to me because, I get it. People are busy. And then I called him this morning at 9 a.m. He was getting ready to call me. I was on his list of people to call. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to have a brand new pump, brand new motor, FedEx warranted. That's 2 years for my pump. So that being said, after talking to my owners, I got a second pump coming too. Because you know what? I'm not going to let a pump being down stop me from my brew day.
Yeah.
So,
that's smart.
Just have a backup.
Correct.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would like to take Tina and Steve for that idea. And believe it or not, the Blickman Riptide's a great pump. It's quiet and it only, maybe I was getting a deal because I'm on the pro side of it. But like if you look retail, it's $199. I got it for $140.
Nice. So I've
good.
actually been looking at that one because I've been looking at getting a second pump for my system, and that one is on my list because it has a variable speed motor on it.
Does it?
Yeah, it has a little knob that you can
Oh, is that
the
what
one
you're
up.
for?
Yeah, it turns the motor speed down so you can
You mean this
control the
This knob right
flow. That knob there, it turns it constricts the flow, so you can control the flow speed through your motor.
Oh, looky here. I learned something today on a nice place to brew. All right. Make sure I got my bearing still in there. All right. No, because they said I'm just getting the motor. I'm not getting this part, the pump part.
Okay.
Okay.
I had to keep everything ripped apart. So when the motor comes tomorrow, my goal is to put everything back together. And now I'll have 3 brew days next week instead of 2.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, before we continue with this story, I would like to welcome all of our new listeners that are catching us for the first time. This is a nice place to brew, all things beer and beer making. We are taking home brewing questions throughout our broadcast tonight. We do this show every Thursday. It's available on Facebook and YouTube. Check us out there, like and subscribe, and throw questions our way. We're ready to answer anything and everything.
Absolutely.
We are home brewers and one professional brewer here among the mix. We do have some large-scale pro brew projects to talk about later on the show, and we're going to get to that shortly. But we will stop everything for home brewing questions. So bring them on. Throw them on in the chat, and we will answer.
Unless you're Glenn Free Tag, screw you, Glenn. You ain't getting those questions answered. I'm just looking at the comments. I had to say it.
All good. All good.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Pauly, I think you did really good with that pump.
Yeah. Sounds
Oh,
like.
I did.
So,
Mr. Popularity.
I know, right? I am looking at my first brew day in some time.
It has been time for you.
Yeah, because I've been rehabbing, but it probably won't be until the beginning of April.
Okay.
But it's finally getting warmer, and I'm going to be able to work in my shed to finish the rehab in the interior without freezing everything. So that I'm hoping to be able to do at the beginning of April. And my old plan of a chocolate banana stout is a little bit shelved because it's not going to be the right time for it. So I'm open to suggestions from the audience and from you guys as to what I should do.
Well, why don't you just do it as a Saison like we talked about before?
Okay, it's an idea.
Although,
Springtime's a nice time for a Saison.
I tell you my idea, but then you're going to take my idea that I'm going to do down here, which is very similar, but it's not going to be a stout.
I don't think I'm your competition, Paul.
No. A while ago, when I first got home brewing, some friends of mine gave me an idea. Excuse me. It was a chocolate banana Hefeweizen, and we were going to call it Boom Goes the Dynamite. Because you get the banana flavor from the Hefeweizen yeast and all that.
Right.
Like a chocolate porter or stout or something like that. We were just going to do porter. So that's what I'm going to do. And Omega, I don't know if you saw that, Omega's got a new yeast strain that is a Hefeweizen strain that's supposed to bring out the banana esters in it.
Okay.
So I might try that for fun just to see what happens. Otherwise, I go the old school way and just let the temperature rise a little bit, you know.
Right. Just stress them out a little bit and bring out the esters. Yeah. So one of the things I've had rattling around in my brain for a while, and you guys can tell me think I'm crazy, when it comes to a Saison, if that's what I'm going to target, is a cinnamon Saison. Take some cinnamon sticks and put them in the mix to get some of those spice notes to go with some of the some of the notes you get with the yeast and everything. I think it might meld fairly well. What do you guys think? Am I crazy?
That's quite an idea.
See, okay, the only thing I would think about that is this, because cinnamon sometimes gives you that spicy flavor that almost burns, like a fireball type of thing, example.
Right.
I don't know how that would go with the spiciness of B134 or something like a Saison yeast.
Right.
That might contradict each other's spiciness.
It
You're
might. But I was thinking about the spiciness from a saison yeast is tends to be more along the lines of like a clove, somewhere in there. So I was thinking if you got a little bit of clove flavor, a little bit of cinnamon flavor, would that complement or would that clash?
I personally think it would clash, but you know what? You never know until you fucking try it. You know,
True.
it's only a 5-gallon batch. If you got to dump it, oh well.
Yeah.
Not like one of these bad boys right here. Where
Well, I'll let you know how it turns out, and maybe you can scale it up.
George, the
And then I
adjunct
look at
that we
the
used
asshole
when
that
we made
tries to soup
our saisons back in the day.
Yeah.
Was it ginger?
We used ginger, orange peel, and then we were kind of on a coriander kick, so I think we used that a little bit
That's
too.
what I was trying to think of. Coriander, yeah.
Yeah. But definitely I remember ginger and orange peel.
That
Yeah,
does
I
bring me
coriander.
back. And
Yeah.
those were really solid.
They were. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
that worked really well.
Definitely if I were to do it again, I'd use probably either powdered ginger or fresh ginger. If I remember, we used candied ginger or something like that.
I believe that's correct, yes.
But I would either use fresh ginger and grate it or use powdered ginger.
See, I remember the last time that I did a saison, and I've done one saison since the brew house moved here into my garage here in Darien, Illinois. I had to learn the harsh lesson about saison yeast, and if you want the saison yeast to work properly, you've got to get it warm.
Yeah.
Because that yeast will be about 75, 85 degrees when it's prime.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to warm it up,
Yeah.
you know. If that's
I fortunately had a friend from a brew club of mine that came in and saved the day and gave me some heating elements that gave me enough heat so that the fermentation could finish.
okay.
And it became a really good beer in the end, but I caught myself in a weird position because I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah. My chest freezer out in the shed, I'm thinking about converting over to a more of a dedicated fermentation tank.
And getting a bigger fridge to put kegs in?
Well, I have because I don't tend to make like a ton of them at a time. So I have my keezer inside that I can, have my tanks in. But either get another fridge, for outside, or I don't know, something else. But if I make that a dedicated fermentation chamber, I can put things like a lizard light in there, which would be able to warm up that interior without risk of like fire or anything like that.
Sure.
And or melting having it being too close and melting the side of the plastic fermenter and things. So
Sure.
I think that's kind of a thought process I have.
You absolutely should have that.
Yeah.
A dedicated chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And we talked about this. Those chest freezers that we've converted into our kegerators, not horribly hard to find, not prohibitively expensive, and easy to modify.
Yes, absolutely, very easy to modify. Just takes a Inkbird and some
wood.
Some wood. It's not that bad.
Exactly. Yeah, just make a square box out of it. Just big enough to fit the hinges. It's a very, very manageable project.
Yeah.
So I know I would applaud that, and I think you've got the right idea.
Okay. Yeah.
We're also coming up into the summer months, and George, your go-to home brews for the summer months have always been a summer shandy. I know that's been a go-to for a couple of years.
Yeah.
So
a touch early for that.
Right.
But that's definitely on my list for like probably May is a summer shandy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saison and Shandy available, I think is a good selection.
It is.
For just getting into summertime. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've actually been down here. I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to start doing for some light beers. I got a few of them coming up. I'm actually really excited for the stuff coming up. Between I got a golden ale that I'm putting like 10 pounds of local honey in from a local beekeeper down here in Wilmington.
Nice.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that. And some of my old summer beers that I get ready to release. I've been doing okay with these homebrew recipes coming out so far. So I'm gonna keep it going. I'm glad I got my brew Bible here.
Well, let's see if we can get some input from the peanut gallery too. So as you guys are going into spring and summer, kind of as home brewers, what's your go-to? What do you guys tend to brew in the summer? Do you do a lighter beer like we're talking about, or do you go a completely different direction in the darkest stout you can manage?
What do you like to have available? What's in
I'm
bottles?
going to judge
what's
you
in
if
your
you say
kegs?
darkest that you can manage.
Oh, no. I'm overriding that.
Yeah.
You will not be judged for that because I may or may not be that
No,
guy.
I won't. I'm still going to talk shit.
Jason, you're definitely that guy.
Yes, I am.
I do got to admit, the one thing I really enjoy about doing my webcast here at the brewery, all I got to do is text my bartender and I got beers delivered. I don't have to get up. It is kind of nice. Not going to lie.
That's nice, yeah. Oh, man.
Pauly, you just made me jealous on a couple of different levels.
How's that?
Number one, I have never texted a beer order in my life and gotten one delivered to me. I think that's amazing. And second of all, I have never done a webcast before outside of my home studio here, which seems insane.
That is true. We've done podcasts, but not webcasts.
Correct.
Well, I think it's kind of funny because once I moved over to the mobile studio, I don't think I've done a nice place to brew webcast at my home since I moved it over to
I think
Uncle
that's
Rick's
true.
place.
It's been a long time since you've done one from your home.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't had cigarette. That's why we haven't had cigarette rolling lessons.
It's cut down on the extracurricular activities, that's for sure. All right.
All right, we got comments. Okay,
We
keep
do.
them coming. It's great.
So Ray says he's brewing up a New England IPA this weekend. Tries to have one of them. That's great. That's a good spring, summertime beer.
For sure.
So Ray, what's your house schedule for that one? I'm kind of curious. I love to see people's house schedules. Sure,
Okay.
New England.
And while he's typing that out, and Anthony's going to try a vanilla cream ale for the
I
first time.
love the sound of that.
It actually
tell
does
ya.
sound good.
I
Yeah.
really do like cream ales, and adding a little bit of vanilla into that, I wouldn't go too much.
Yeah. Yeah, be gentle with it.
Be gentle with it, but a little bit of vanilla in there will really, I think, complement well.
I tell you, I brewed a cream ale early last summer, and it lasted for a good number of months, and it was a huge hit. I brought the cream ale a whole bunch of places, and everybody loved it.
I'm texting Tina, my owner, right now, our cream ale with vanilla. I love that idea.
We're all on board
Paul's
with
poaching
this.
your idea. Okay.
Your own damn fault. Thank you, Angie.
Well done,
All
Anthony.
right.
Thank you for the comment.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
Ray
Ray
is using all Galaxy in his New
Ooh.
England.
Ooh. All right. I like that idea. Is it
Okay.
all going to be whirlpool? Or you do it like when's your first edition, Anthony? How about that? Are you going to do it all?
Ray, that's Ray.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ray. Sorry. Oh, Anthony wants a recipe now.
Hey, give and take relationship,
Sure.
Right?
Oh man. So as we get towards the what is likely the middle of the show here, do you guys want to talk about your adventures over the weekend?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
We made beer.
Jason, but we did. We made a lot of
A
it.
lot of beer. 10 barrels worth.
Yeah. But
So,
okay.
Pauly, you're the best person to tee this up because this was a collaboration that was put together between
Me and
Route
Brian.
66 and another brewery. That brewery, of course, being Blue Island Beer Company out of Blue Island, Illinois. Brian Simcoe, or Brian
Shimcoes.
Shimcoe
Shimcoes,
is the
yeah.
head brewer for Blue Island. Sorry for the mispronunciation. Brian's an awesome guy, and he was so nice to host Pauly and I this past weekend. And this is the first time, George, I was really flattered about this, but as we were talking, we saw this as a joint collaboration project between Blue Island Beer Company, Route 66 Old School Brewing, and A Nice Place to Brew.
Nice. We're on the mat.
Yes.
First
Which
collab.
was so, yes. It was so awesome. Just putting that in that context and all we've done, and now we're collaborating on large scale projects. It's awesome.
Nice.
There you go.
So
anyways,
what'd you guys?
Paul-
What'd you
Yeah.
make?
Yeah, Pauly, why don't you talk about kind of how it came together, what we made, and kind of
All right.
what next steps are?
Well, how it came together, first of all, was like right when I got the job here 6 months ago. I had a bunch of my friends that are pro brewers all approach me. They're like, collaboration, let's do one. And I did a nice alcohol-induced thought about this one night. And I'm like, okay, I know a bunch of people that own breweries or head brewers at places. And who do I want to do my first one with? Well, as we all, at least the three of us know, Brian Shimko is the head brewer at Blue Island Beer Company, was the one that taught me how to brew beer on the professional scale. And then I dumbed it down to the home. I wouldn't say dumbed it, but brought it down to the homebrew scale. And we become great friends. We stayed great friends the whole time. And then when I got this job, I reached out to him because I'm thinking, if I'm going to collaborate with anybody, my very first collaboration out the box, it's going to be the guy that taught me how to brew beer. So it was kind of like a mentor-mentee type of thing. But I had a lot of fun. I got stuck in the mash tun again. Jason, go ahead and cue up the picture because I'm sure that's that now.
So Blue Island's system. So you guys made 10 barrels. How big is Blue Island's system?
It's a 10-barrel system. It's all steam, so it's something that I'm familiar with. That I don't know it very well, but I know Jason had no idea on a steam system. So that was a lot of fun, just dealing with steam systems and all that. But wow, I mean, the difference between what you guys do at home, nice, and then between what we do at home brewing compared to what I do here with my electric brewery, compared to what we were doing at Brian's, 90% of the stuff was just opening and closing valves. That's what we did most of the time.
Yeah.
Opening and closing valves, just directing flows of fluid. That's all we were doing.
Well,
let me put it in this context. It was by far the largest brew day I've ever been a part of. It also was quite possibly the easiest brew day I've ever been a part of. Because of that very reason. That's how much of the whole process is automated.
Nice. So can you guys circle back on something for a second? So what is the steam brewing, like, steam boil kettle and mash tun and everything? Like, how does that differ from, I mean, obviously the heat source is different, but what does that what effect does that have on the brew day?
You got a little bit more of a startup in the morning because you got to turn the boiler on. You got to get the water boiling. You got to produce the steam. But steam, in my opinion, seems to be more efficient because once you get that stuff up to temperature, it stays at temperature. You're not fluctuating with the propane or like I do over here with my elements and whatnot. It was blowing my mind because like towards the end of the brew day, I just stood up there on the stand and threw in hop additions every 5 minutes. And there's Jason mashing out. That was so fun. I was so fun watching Jason mash out.
What else we got here?
You got the one of my legs sticking out? Nope.
Oh,
that's
there.
all. That's the mash. Look at all that.
Mash.
A pallet
Look at all
full of
that.
mash. And I know this is a first for Jason, but all of our grain was pre-milled. We didn't have to mill a single goddamn thing.
That's right.
Nice. Do they order it pre-milled or
They do.
Yes.
They do.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he said at his scale, it's only an extra 8 cents a pound to get it pre-milled. Five?
Five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not bad. My only other concern would be you can't control or know the mill depth or anything on that. But as long as you're getting it from a reputable place, that shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And then
But look at
literally, Brian only buys what he needs for like 2 or 3 weeks at a brew day. So it's not like he's got a back stock of crushed grain.
Okay.
Like our buddy Brando said, after it's crushed, it's only good for like 6 months.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
I'll contradict that because I've used stuff that's been milled for a year and it still seems good. But I was a
That
home
reminds me, I still have some some milled grains in the garage that needs to get used at some point. So yes, I will test
There
out
you go.
that theory.
Just use them. Oh,
So our
Just throw 'em
10 barrel recipe, we used 750 pounds of grain.
Wow. Yeah. That's impressive.
Yeah. All just
Okay.
loaded right there
and
on the pallet.
Jason pulled it out by himself.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Using all the hooks.
Yeah, all the hooks. Yeah.
There were lots of hooks used on said brew day.
Oh, that's our logo for the.
Yeah, there we go.
Word.
There you go.
There's
All
a
in
nice
Maybe sitting
shirt,
here.
Yeah.
Loading in said 750 pounds of grain.
Okay.
That's Brian's taking the picture of Bubba standing on the safety rail that he shouldn't be standing on. Hope Ocean's not listening.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was
What else we got?
okay.
more
More?
of
Okay,
that.
Pauly and I
This had
trading
Jason-
places.
Yep.
All right.
What? We're stuck in
Oh,
the mash
that's-
tun again.
Back to Pauly. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
oh,
you looped.
Come on.
You've
What about the
looped.
one with my feet?
Okay.
No, I think you've
Gotta
looped.
keep looking.
Yeah.
Oh,
there
there
we go.
it is.
So
Pauly
There's a li-
squeezing out of the mash tun.
a little bit of a story behind this, Pauly. Like, what happened here?
Okay, so the very first time I brewed with Brian, I was 5 years younger, not as old, a little bit fatter, and a little bit more daring. I couldn't get out from the top of the mash tun, so I somehow squeezed out that little scuttle hole. And I stuck my legs through there, and I'm like, I'm going to hurt myself if I try and squeeze my body through that hole. So I made somebody bring me a bucket, and then I crawled out through the top.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Well, that was a
But
project in itself too. Well, not just, I mean, not the bucket part of it, but even just using the bucket as a step ladder. Still, there was quite a big swing just to even get out the top of the mash tun.
Oh,
It was not an easy feat.
Well, you remember that one time, Jason, that we never got the picture of when I crawled down. I kept my leg stuck up. I got my leg above my head.
I
and I'm
do.
sliding down.
I was
the
like,
mash tun.
wow.
That's impressive.
I'm like, Pauly, you are way more flexible than I gave you credit for.
I don't think I could do that.
I couldn't. I freely admit that I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
I did.
I've been,
Well done.
I've been doing this exercise thing, and part of it's stretching, and one of the stretches is like, well, just like stretch your leg up, to about like your chin level. I was like, no, screw you. I can't do that. So, yeah.
Let's look at more pictures, shall we?
Well, before we
We
do that,
got some good ones. Check this out.
okay.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Look at
Here's
that.
another picture of me mashing out 750 pounds of malt on my own.
Is that
But I'll
just
tell you, this hand tool that they've got there is top notch. Like that is all you need to be moving grain out.
Is that just a block of grain there inside? But is this like before
Yes,
you
sir.
started? Oh,
Yes, it
wow.
is.
Look at that grain bed.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Imagine you guys had a decent Vorloff on that, didn't you?
We
Uh-huh.
did.
That looked like a very well set grain bed.
Yep, same ones. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Pauly, you asked about hop schedules. So Ray says he usually goes light on hop additions during the boil and heavy on whirlpool and dry hopping shooting for about 35 IBU.
Okay, so
Good plan for New England.
that's a great idea. But I guess the only question I ask for him is, do you do a high Kreuzen edition? If you're still listening, right?
A high Kreuzen edition. Okay. So Ray, back at you, man. Do you do or do you know? Are you familiar with the high Kreuzen edition?
Well, let me. I guess
Pauly,
yes.
for those that aren't,
high Kreuzen is you're right 1 or 2 days into your, at least on the homebrew side, 1 or 2 days into your fermentation when that thing's going crazy. That's when you put the high Kreuzen edition. And then it was kind of funny. Here was when I finally figured it out. Because what you'll do is you'll do your high Kreuzen edition, and then you'll do your yeast dump or move into a secondary, and then to get it off that yeast cake. And then you'll do your double dry hop, the DDH, like all these trendy BS places, like all I'm going to say is HP here in Illinois, or P3. Then you're supposed to seal it off, and that's where, because when I was doing some of my high Kreuzen editions here, it was like I'd come in the morning, it'd be fermenting. I would throw a pound or two of hops in the high Kreuzen edition. I've never seen such a vigorous high flocculation fermentation. That bucket's bubbling and splashing water all over the place. And
so I'm thinking about it. So high Kreuzen is when the foam at the top, foam's a good word for it, is like kind of at its peak. So the theory is that's when your fermentation is its most vigorous. You've gone through your initial growth phase of your yeast. If you remember back when we had Louise on, she talked about this. You've gone through your initial growth phase, and then you really hit fermentation hard. So right when that starts, you're at your peak fermentation. You get that Kreuzen up. So I'm wondering is, adding that hop in during that is probably going to get circulated a little bit better because of all that activity from the yeast and flocculation that you're talking about. So I wonder how much that actually affects the dry hopping process in really incorporating that into, if it acts like somewhat of a, and this is not accurate, but somewhat of a whirlpool, has a whirlpool effect on it in the fermentation cycle.
Okay, so Ray just responded. JC, you want to cue this up because I got to chime in with this one. Ray, good idea, but everyone I've talked to, all of us home brewers gone pro, I would say cut that down at least half, if not to a third of the high activity or high Kreuzen, and what you would add into there, throw that into the 4 days before kegging, because you want more on the double dry hop than you do on the high Kreuzen. So that's my 2 cents worth on that.
So his addition should be 1 ounce, 5 ounce, rather than 3
or
and
2
3.
ounce, 2 ounce and 4 ounce, 2 ounce and 4 ounce.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to double up on your double dry hop in your high Kreuzen edition.
So, is it accurate to say that the effect of that is there will be more aroma created from those later additions? Is that part
more
of it?
aroma and flavor? Yeah, and then that's why they always tell you to seal it off. Like if you have a solid bung, put the solid bung. Yeah, sorry, Ray. 2 and 4, not 1 and 5. 2 and 4.
Okay.
Because what I'll do is, so you see this little happy valve right here. This off is for a reason right now. So say I had a blow off tube come down here into my bucket for a blow off tube. As soon as I had my double dry hop, I close that so I'm not venting off the CO2 produced in that. Because all that stuff will help make your flavor and aroma that much better in the beer.
Okay, and also if you're venting, you could inadvertently
lose those flavors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Almost vent that out. So if you almost give it a chance to incorporate in there if you seal it off like that. So yeah, makes sense to me.
So that actually our friend Dave Campbell from On Tour threw in. Jason, you just missed him on Sunday. He showed up like 10 minutes after, and
Oh
he
man.
had like 2 4-packs of a bunch of On Tour beers that me and Brian we drank your share. Sorry, no Snow Globes
right.
for you.
Okay.
I drank them.
Point taken.
I drank them. They were good, and it was
Yeah.
kind of funny because I think I've said this on the show about the whole on tour what they do with their labels because they're like Dave said, you know, the owner's an old hippie. He names all of his songs after Grateful Dead and Fish tunes, and they're always puns on music. And then there's always on every one of his labels, there's a little circle. And you'll look on the label, there's like a grid system. And there's a little circle, but that grid system is a map of whatever city that the owner chose for that song they're punning whatever band. So prime example,
okay.
like the one one on Sunday, it was a Tweezer Reprise pun. And I looked at the date, like as I know this story, and I looked at the date, and believe it or not, that date was my 22nd birthday, and I was at the said this show, and not trying to,
No.
I was, and I'm not trying to get sappy or anything, but this is the only time that I ever went to all these goddamn concerts where a band literally brought me to tears because they played the tune I wanted to hear on my birthday.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. What a story.
That is
Yeah,
quite a
right?
story.
Like,
Yeah.
after drinking a bottle of peach mead and all the stuff that Brian's pulling out of his cooler, and all of us sitting around, I looked at that and I'm like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" Because that was in December 6, 1997, in Auburn Hills, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit.
You say
Where
87 or 97?
97. I'm not that old,
97.
Jason.
No, I thought. No, that's what I thought. Okay.
It was Auburn Hills. That's where the Pistons and the Red Wings used to play in that
Right.
stadium.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah,
good.
I
Always
was,
good when beer can take you back like that. So.
Wow.
and I just thought it was kind of funny, like all the crazy similarities that have been happening in the past 5-6 months with me landing when I got all the crazy stuff that's happened, and now here I am, and that's happening. And no, it's kind of funny because like I just worked out on another collab. Jason, you have to keep your weekends open because if I keep pulling you in on all these collaborations, I'm going to keep you busy till the end of the year.
Please.
He
Polly,
seems okay
do
with it.
not be bashful. Throw me in. Throw me in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I need a guy to grade out, especially when you got two pro guys. I'm like, let's see.
I know a guy.
Here.
I know a guy. He's right here.
So, okay. Yeah, no, definitely make Jason do the manual labor. I'm on board with that as well.
Although I should
Thanks.
have made him get the goddamn mash time so I can get pictures of his
You're
legs
right.
sticking out.
Okay, next time I'm cleaning the mash tun and you're taking pictures of me. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right for me.
Make
I'm
Jason
down with
do the
that.
manual labor. I support that.
So, I gotta ask you, Jason. So, you and I are both drinking, granted different volumes,
Yeah.
but both at 11%. I'm starting to feel all 11% of this. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, it's coming on.
It's coming on. Yeah.
You're all a
It's
bunch
not-
of
it's not-
lightweights.
It's not creeping up quite as badly as I feared it would. I think I'm
Right.
holding up pretty good. But yeah, I mean, listen, 11% is 11%, and especially because we're going from 0 straight to this.
Right, and it's 16 ounces. So
You're right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
But I'll tell you what, Orenda, for those of you that don't know, is Jason and I's one of our first forays into pretty much any barrel-aged beer.
true.
And kind of set the tone for me a little bit because that first original volume of Orenda, that was Was that a triple? That was a triple, wasn't it?
Quad.
Was it a quad? Okay.
That was a
so
quad.
It was a quad that was aged in red wine barrels and just blew Jason and I's socks off. So we ended up making not exactly a clone, but a bit of a inspired beer out of that. We took our triple and with a red wine spiral and made a
triple.
homage.
Yeah,
an homage
it was a
to
triple.
Orenda. Yeah,
it was a triple that we made.
Mhm.
And yes, it was, I think inspired is the perfect way to describe it. There was a lot of learning along with it, like how to sanitize wooden spirals. And obviously like quote unquote barrel aging a 5-gallon batch.
Yeah.
So, and spirals was our way to do that. And it was very memorable, and it was a really, really good project. Very,
it was,
very
and
enjoyable.
it was good beer too.
It was
Yeah.
strong.
So
I think we
was,
brewed that at like 9%.
Yeah, which is
Something
strong
like
for a triple. It's on,
It is.
on the high end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I wonder if there's any bottles left in existence of that first edition Orenda red wine barrel series.
I'm sure they're in Ed's basement somewhere.
That's a good point. That makes me want to go hunting through like any of the aftermarket places to see if anybody's just kept a bottle around that. Because wow, was that beer amazing? It
Were
really
they doing that was early on in Pollyanna's. That was
It was
shortly after they opened.
Maybe between year 1 and year 2.
Were they doing a lot of distribution at that time?
Probably not.
That's
But
what I'm wondering.
let's remember that place opened up before the big spike in craft beer.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
All
they've gained a name for themselves, rightfully so, because they're a really good brewery. They make a really good product. They got a great reputation, well deserved, and Orenda was just one of those early special projects.
Yeah, they have one of the best pilsners that I've had in recent memory, and yeah, definitely they're on top of it for sure. So Eleanor,
we can't talk about Pollyanna without talking about Eleanor.
Without talking about Eleanor. It's
Their
a
porter.
Yeah, that is really tasty.
Which is always on tap pretty much year round. I think even throughout the summertime, even though we were knocking people that had dark beers on tap during the summertime.
Pauly was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, in the last time I remember having that was actually at the Cell while we were watching a Sox game.
They do have distribution at now Guaranteed Rate Field. Yeah, that's the name of the White Sox ballpark now.
That's not as fun.
You're right. It's that is correct. It's not.
Okay, so Guaranteed Rate Field. And I did just see a news article that Chicago White Sox fans drink the most of all baseball fan bases. I don't know how they came up with this.
Really?
But that is the
I gotta
article
read
that
this.
I saw. Yeah.
I know why. Because the Sox suck
this.
ass, and they got nothing better than drinking their team's fucking losing all the time.
Drown their sorrows.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm a Cubs fan. I don't have much to talk about, but still.
Hold my beer while we're winning the World Series in 2021.
Oh, okay. Although, you know what? Your farm team is actually pretty fucking solid right now.
Do you have any idea how much talent is on that team right now?
Oh, I do. I just hope they can.
That team is stacked.
I know.
That team is built to win right now.
But that was like
I'm telling you.
That was like the Cubs farm system 5 years ago.
Yes. But regardless, I love this idea that White Sox fans drink more than any other baseball fan.
Although
I'm all kinds of intrigued.
The Cubs came in at 14, so
well,
no slouches there.
Yeah, I guess us Cubs people got to pick it up. Although I do got to admit, that beer cave is pretty impressive. with all that craft beer in there, out there in the outfield.
There's a ton. And you don't have that at Wrigley because Old Style has that foothold.
And my only argument with that is because, like, when I went to a Sox game, last time we were able to go baseball game 2 years ago, I went with Will County. It was kind of funny. I went with Will County, I went with Joel and Don Z from the club. Like,
Okay.
we went and we took full advantage of the free food and beer for a while. And then, like, on the second inning, we left the park and then went to Mars and all the good beer bars in Bridgeport. Mars and Maria's. Have you ever been to Maria's, Jason?
No, I have not.
Oh, you need to go to Maria's next time you're in Bridgeport. You got to check out Maria's. It's worth a trek.
Okay.
So
I mean,
here you go,
I'll break
Jason.
that up.
So
what
what they
they
did
problems
was they,
here?
what problems?
The picture's not loading up. Having trouble connecting. Unstable internet connection. What is going on? Is that on me?
I got it over here on my end.
You got it, Pauly? Okay.
I got it, yeah.
So might come up for you in a second, Jason, but it is basically what they did was they figured out the number of drinks per game the average fan does. And the Chicago White Sox came in at the top at 4.2 drinks per game, followed shortly thereafter by the Atlanta Braves at 4 drinks per game. So an average alcohol spend, and I'm not sure if this is an indictment on Sox fans or the price of beers at the stadium, is $46 per person.
That's about
guaranteed
right.
rate deal.
Okay, but
That's
divided
one
by
round.
4. Yeah,
That's
so 10,
one
10 to
round.
$12 per beer. That's about right.
Per
At
like
current ballpark
12
prices.
ounce beer. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's not just Chicago. That's the entire baseball world.
No, I'm with you. It's also a good reason to smuggle beer in, like in your pants. You know,
Exactly. Well,
Is that a beer in your pocket? No, I'm just happy to see you.
Let's take this over to hockey. You went to a Washington Capitals game within the last year. Do you remember what beer prices were there?
No, but I remember they weren't great.
Okay, all right. I rest my case.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah.
Beer prices
But anyways,
at events.
okay. So this article is saying that the average White Sox fan drinks 4.2 glasses throughout a game.
Yep.
That's a fourth inning.
What kind of
for me.
math is that?
That's a fourth inning. You gotta do the beer per inning thing. What the hell?
That's the math right there. You might go through like 2. Pauly's saying that's like halfway through the game, so it balances out.
Come on, we've all played. At least I know you guys haven't played the beer per inning game.
No,
never. I can guarantee.
Oh God, we played that a few times in Wrigley, and we wonder why. Like, although all the shenanigans that go on in the outfield of Wrigley.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying, like, these numbers are crap. Like how are the Cubs not way ahead of the White Sox just for that very reason?
Number one, why are we not above that? Hey, you got one up on us, Jason. You guys are more drunks than us.
Well, okay, so here's an interesting part. So Chicago White Sox, 4.2 beers, average spend $46.
Okay.
Chicago Cubs at 3 points. What did I see? 3.6.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Average spend $45.
Yeah.
Which tells me that you get a better deal at a Sox
Park.
game.
Yeah, exactly.
For your beer.
Well, and also let's dig deeper. At Sox Park, you've got Pollyanna, you've got Pipeline, you've got
Metal Monkey.
Metal Monkey. There you go. Metal Monkey.
Yeah,
nice. Good for them.
You're paying higher dollar at Wrigley for Old Style.
Yeah. Or Budweiser.
Okay.
They have some Goose
So,
they got Stella. I mean,
all you craft beer fans around Chicagoland,
Southside's it.
Sox Southside is the way to go.
well,
I rest my case.
We could do a whole episode of Cubs sock stuff. This would be fun. We'll have to do this like midsummer. We'll have to do this like midsummer.
So here in where I am, the closest team is the Nationals. And so the Nationals came in at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 at
above the Cubs.
Wow. Above the Cubs at 3.6. Yeah, sorry, the Cubs was 3.4. Nats came in at 3.6. So yeah,
I call shenanigans.
This is quite a list.
This is quite a list. Yeah. The one that is the least is and this might tell you that this is way off. Okay. I don't know what the Phillies at 2.4.
No.
Bullshit.
There is absolutely no way Philadelphia is the least
drunk baseball team. No.
The
absolutely
fans.
not. Okay, let's just cut out the last 10 minutes of this episode.
The whole thing
I'm reading this article. I am reading this article tomorrow morning. I have to, and I will call it shenanigans on it all. I call it already. The stats are
yeah, exactly. Oh God.
Oh man. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm so glad I saw that article earlier.
Wow. Okay, that's a good one. Like what does fit? Like what fits as like the least like beer related baseball team?
I'd say the Royals.
Okay, that's fair. Like the Seattle Mariners maybe come to mind.
Yeah.
Seattle. Let's think here. You got Seattle. You got Kansas City.
Seattle's pretty
Texas.
low on it, by the way.
Texas is not. You got Houston and.
Houston and Astros and the Rangers are pretty low on the list.
California, I don't know. They drink martinis and that bullshit out there.
Yeah.
East Coast, yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah, apparently not. Just go to Philly because they got the best fans, the least drunk fans, apparently.
What are they doing? Are they doing other hard drugs in the state? Are they up in the sand smoking weed? I need to go to a Phillies game.
Okay. If with that logic, then the Colorado Rockies should be right at the top of the list.
Right?
3.6. So
where are they at? What's their rank?
3.6. They are at 1, 2, 3, 7. They're right at the Nationals.
Okay. What about Boston? Where's Boston at?
Oh, good
Boston. Call. Yeah, that is a good call. Let me check here. Red Sox 3.2, about middle of the pack.
So you're telling me that there's less beer drank at Fenway than guaranteed rate? Are you insane?
Well,
are you insane?
Was this right or high? That's my question.
I think you got the right idea.
The question, so less beer drank, but isn't Fenway a bigger field, like audience-wise, than guaranteed rate than the Cell?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I'd say so. I mean, you got that monster wall. You got,
Yeah. Well, but he's saying the number of seats. That's
number
different.
of seats.
I'd say there's more seats in Fenway than there were, because you got to think about Fenway is literally the oldest park in the nation right now. They hold that title.
Well, but remember, the Sox Park was opened in the early 90s, and they were opening to like bigger crowds at that point.
But you think about it, when whoever bought the field the first time, they cut out how many seats when they cut out like the top 10 rows?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. That's a tough one.
Yeah. So
I would not quickly say that Fenway has more seats though.
So Fenway can do 40,000.
Okay.
See, the other part about it is nobody can spell guaranteed rate.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell guaranteed either. So
I may be eating shit.
Thank you autocorrect for that one for me.
Yeah,
The 40,000 number is bigger than I expected.
yeah. So at guaranteed rate, which again is not as much fun as
The cell.
the cell.
Comiskey Park.
Is that what it was originally? I was
Yes.
wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was Comiskey Park.
Make sure it's new Comiskey Park.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
capacity is 44, so the
Oh.
cell's bigger.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
I still call shenanigans. Those Boston people like to drink their fucking
Yeah, exactly.
salmon.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say I'm not a big baseball fan. I'll enjoy going to a game every now and again, but I will say Fenway is an impressive field.
That monster wall. I have to see
Yeah.
that monster wall.
We went
Agreed. Yeah, me too.
I was working with Dunkin' Donuts for a little while, and they took us over to Fenway for a game, and that is an impressive field.
Yeah. A lot of history there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hold the oldest ballpark in the nation right now, and Wrigley's number 2. And well,
Yeah.
your 4 Southsiders had it, but they cried and whined to get a new stadium. And well, here we are now.
Yeah.
Now it's guaranteed rate field.
It is one of the last classic ballparks left in the country. You know,
Fenway.
Fenway and Wrigley are the two iconic stadiums still out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's
Comiskey it got renovated from the original build of it.
No,
It did.
no, that's
when,
a whole
It did,
new
actually.
construction.
no, when
No. When the whole new
What, Cellular
construction
bought
happened,
it?
it has since got renovated.
yeah,
Oh,
when
right.
you were,
okay. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
you're correct. It opened up and it's changed significantly since then. Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
My
anyway,
only point was, okay, the old Comiskey Park closed. They built a whole new stadium before they opened it up.
yeah. So back to home brewing.
oh come on!
Remember what we were saying about this 11%, George?
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We went down drinking at a ball game.
A deep
rabbit
baseball
hole.
rabbit hole.
It was actually a lot of fun.
This
Spring
it
Street
was.
is
This
happening
does
right now.
happen here on the webcast. It's
does, yeah.
reality.
Yeah, for sure. You can tell this is not scripted.
Oh my god.
Oh god, if we were scripted, we'd be screwed. It lasts us 20 minutes an episode.
I mean, how far would this show go? Okay, our listener number is increasing right now as this goes on, which is a little frightening.
These assholes aren't even talking about brewing beer. They're talking about baseball. What's going on here?
Yeah. So, but yeah. All right. So, Jason, I did want to ask you this, and then we got off on that tangent.
Yeah.
So you're, doing the semi-pro thing with Pauly, but are
Yeah.
you planning any brew days at the Darien, a nice place to brew Stronghold?
I'm certainly due.
Yeah.
You know, I've only got one keg in the Keyser right now.
Okay.
So
Still?
I've got space. Yeah.
So what are you thinking?
I don't.
Okay.
Like I do feel the urge to get brewing again, and I've been thinking about that over the last couple of days. I'm not settled on anything right now, so it's
Okay. All right.
I think the idea of doing a New England again is appealing, and I think I could do one better than I did before, just based on what I have right now.
Yeah, I think they got to be on my list at some time in the near future too, because I've never actually done one.
Sure.
I've drank them and I enjoy them, so I know if I made one, I would be okay with drinking it. So, but I've never actually made one.
They're a lot
You're
of
set
fun.
up to, you're set up to Whirlpool.
Oh yeah,
If
I can do.
If
a
you just got the 90-degree inserts,
yeah, it's
where you
not
can
the
put your
fancy
pumps-
wayy one like Pauly has.
you
but
don't
it's-
need it. If
it's
you
just
just
a
got one
90
that spins
degree.
90 degrees, that's enough to
Yeah.
get motion. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can definitely do Whirlpool, enough to be able to throw the hops in and get them moving. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Go for it.
yeah,
I may be talking myself into that being my next brew project too,
yeah. Okay,
and I'm okay with that.
all
Well,
right.
if you guys need any help, send recipes my way. I would love to look them over for you.
All right,
Sure.
and don't forget, you owe Anthony a recipe for that.
Yeah.
That vanilla cream ale.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm stealing his recipe, so
you're stealing his idea. He wants to
Yeah.
steal your recipe. So
hold on. I can make that happen, Anthony. Don't worry. Reach out to
Okay.
me.
All
We'll make
right.
that happen.
So,
We
All
get you
right.
some clone stuff.
all right.
Round them up.
Round them
Yeah,
up.
let's do that.
All right. Today is March 4th. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the webcast. All of our past episodes are available on our YouTube page. If you have not liked and subscribed, please give us a like and subscribe. It has our back catalog of episodes. We've been doing episodes going back weekly since the beginning of COVID-19. There's a lot of content there, so check us out. We will be back here next Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We have an audio podcast under the same name, A Nice Place to Brew, that's available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and all the places you get your podcast from. Our website is www.aniceplacetobrew.com, and our social media links are A Nice Place to Brew and Nice Place to Brew.
What are you laughing about?
Oh, man. I've really tried to keep it together.
Are these going to be on the outtakes episode here soon?
Yeah, probably. Oh, man. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a
Absolutely.
great weekend. We send out every episode the same way. We raise a glass and we say it takes a lot of good beer to make great beer. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Spinning.
Spinning. Let me try.